Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast from the Super Bowl. It's Thursday, February 9th, and I'm Blair Kirchhoff. Today was the final opportunity for reporters to meet with the Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles, and the big sigh of relief you hear is from the players. They've had media obligations for 4 straight games, and now that part of their week is out of the way. We have 4 conversations on today's show. You'll hear from tight end Travis Kelce from his podium session where he spoke about how he's redefined the position, and there's a touching tribute to his brother Jason, the Eagles center. Next up is defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who touched on a variety of subjects, but I found his comments on how to stop Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts and the RPO most interesting. Then we leave the field for a moment and hear from team president Mark Donovan. We chatted about the NFL draft coming to Kansas City in April and what that will mean for the city. Finally, Chris Jones takes us out. I wondered if he could name the 5 Chiefs who are poised to start all of the Chiefs' Super Bowl appearances in the past 4 years, but I also wanted to know from his Super Bowl experience the range of emotions he's felt from winning the big game to losing it the next year. Okay, let's get started with Travis Kelce.
And George Kittle and Greg Olsen have, in a way, really made the tight end position cooler than it's ever been. Why have you guys, especially the beacon for doing something like that and making sure that people do look okay, you guys got to focus on this?
Well, I think it starts with the type of character that you got in the tight end room. It's usually a selfless guy that puts the team first, that just has a whole lot of fun playing the game, man. That's what you see out of us 3 specifically, but it's all across the league. And there's a lot of talent in the tight end room across the league. I'm very fortunate here that Coach Reed showcases my talents on the field a lot, and puts a lot of trust in me to have success with this offense. And I'm just hoping that because of tight end, we can keep creating that spark in the tight end room and the type of mismatch that we can have out there on the field, so league-wide we can really get the position that much more ingrained in the offenses.
Travis, to your left here. Could you take us back a little bit to the off-season workouts with Pat and some of the new receivers in Texas and how helpful that was as you kind of went through the grind of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it was Pat's idea to get everybody going before we got into OTAs. And you know what, I think that all that did was really just get the ball rolling and get everybody in the same mind frame. Kind of saw how me and Pat, Nicole was down there, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was down there working their tails off, and they saw the practice habits there. And then that was just an easy way to transition right into OTAs when we got the coaches involved and the entire team together. But it was as much as we like to say it's about a culture here. Can't say enough about the guys that came in that took this to heart. It's cool looking back on it now because you see the determination, you see the focus, you see the want to get to a position that we're in. And man, it's gratifying for sure. But I don't think enough is said about the professionals that came in, the guys that came in this year with the right mindset each and every single day, even when we weren't even clocking in with the Chiefs. We were just trying to figure out how we were going to make this thing work.
Hey, Travis, over here to your right. You know how much Patrick Mahomes fit in your career with NFL honors today and being up for the MVP award, and him winning one his second year. What's it mean to you to see the evolution in him from that first MVP year to now being a favorite to win MVP and seeing how he's evolved over this year in comparison to that first MVP season he had?
I think we just seen him grow as a quarterback. His talent level goes far beyond more than his ability to instinctually just go out there. He's playing a step ahead. He's almost playing chess out there in terms of he's got 3 or 4 moves already in his pocket, depending on what the defense does. And that's what's going to make him the greatest ever go down. And I love playing with him. And he's nonstop, always trying to find ways to make himself better for this team. And you saw that more so this year than any other year that we've played, knowing that the pieces were a little bit different in terms of the weapons that he has and the scrutiny that was kind of looking to see how he was going to take his game to the next level. And sure enough, I'm pretty sure he'll win MVP.
Morning, Trav. Why are you always open?
Why am I always open? I say it all the time. Andy Reid, baby. Big Red. He can dial some stuff up at the right time, create some things at the right time, and then on top of that, everybody's doing their job. It's not just me just go out there and get open kind of play. I'm sure you guys like to think that, but there's a lot of madness to it, and there's a lot of guys doing their job for the big picture. And I'm fortunate that I'm playing here for sure.
You talked about the new guys and the important role they play in the Super Bowl. Obviously, not the result y'all won last time in the Super Bowl. Do you use that as motivation this week? Do you tell them what it's like to lose the Super Bowl if you build up for this one?
I don't even like to revisit that one. I'll tell you what, that wasn't a private moment in my life, but I'll tell you what, it's good wisdom to have, and as a leader, I don't think, that I stepped up to the plate as much as I should have in that game, and that's where it really burns me. So I'm just focusing on myself to be able to be the best leader that I can, the best teammate that I can come game day. And not put my team in a position like I did the last time in the Super Bowl.
Travis, given it's year 2 for you, what did you feel like was your toughest challenge this season, and what was necessary to overcome it to get to this point?
Every single season has their challenges, and I feel like this year for me it was keeping the body at full strength. That was probably the biggest thing for me. Week in, week out, you always try and get back to 100%. And in this league, towards the end of the season, especially the 17th game now, it was tough to try and get back to that top physical form. And especially the older you get, I'm sure everybody can account for that. But it's there's that aspect, and then the challenge of the injuries around you and things like that. But for the most part, for me, it was week in, week out, trying to get my body back to playing in the best physical form that I can.
Travis, you talked a minute ago about Pat Ling winning the MVP. What would that mean to you and really the rest of the guys in the locker room if you did win that award?
Really, it's just it's something that I know at the end of his career, he's going to be able to hang his hat on. But Pat doesn't walk into that building thinking I need to be the MVP. He walks in that building trying to find the best way to beat the opponent that we had that week. And he just goes out there and he plays the style of football that he does. He has fun doing it with the guys that he has around him, and we rally around that. We rally around that excitement, that want for and that desire to win with the guys next to us, man. It just makes coming into the building that much more fun.
Travis Kelce. Hi. You and Patrick Mahomes have a very special relationship, and you've talked a lot about the play-by-play mentality. With Mahomes coming off an injury and having a harder time getting out of the pocket, how are you and the rest of the offensive line planning on creating opportunities to move the ball down the field?
Yeah, I mean, that defensive line is arguably the best in the game this year, and a big reason why they're here in the Super Bowl. And it's going to be a big task. I know our offensive line, everybody that's in the run game and the pass game, in terms of having to deal with the front and protecting Pat, we're all pretty locked in on the task at hand. And we know it's going to be a challenge. We know that they got some real dogs up front, and even if they get to Pat once or twice, man, we got to find a way to still move the ball downfield and have success.
Ruth Davis with KC Cares. You and your brother are having a lot of fun with this. You're setting history. What's important about that situation, and what do you have to say for the folks back in Cleveland who are your second biggest fans?
I'll tell you what, I love Cleveland to death. The east side of Cleveland, where I grew up, it's given me so much in terms of my passion for sports, my passion for life, my passion for the friends and family that I have around me. And I know the Heights is proud. We're representing you guys in the biggest stage that we can possibly represent you on. And it's just there's a lot of pride for not only the city but the people back home. And yeah, we'll go out there and try and get a win, but I think it'll be a little bit more of a Chiefs win. That's just a medium relax.
All right, we got three more young ladies here, Sam, Albert.
Yeah, hey Travis, this is sort of playing off Diana's question about always being open. Chad told me a couple weeks ago that he thinks it's because you were a high school quarterback and you know how to set up coverage, you understand leverage, all of that. How much does that experience having played quarterback in high school play into the player you are on tight end now?
Initially, I really didn't, going into the tight end position, man, it was a pretty big struggle, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel comfortable running routes, I didn't feel comfortable blocking. It took really a full year to 2 years until my senior year in college to really kind of hone my own craft. And then it changed as soon as I got to the league. I went from really being a wide tight end, an inline tight end, to kind of this new creation that you see Coach Reed and the offensive staff really creating for me in this offense. And making that transition, I think, yeah, you have an understanding of what that quarterback is going through back there. You have an understanding of the progression on this play. You have the understanding of, all right, versus this defense, this is where I need to go with the ball. And if you have that kind of mindset, if you're in the quarterback's mind and you're thinking with him and the chemistry is there, there's certain things you can do when you run routes to get open or to just make that guy's life that much easier. And that's my job. My job is to go out there and paint a picture for the quarterback to make his job that much easier, a clear-cut, decisive picture of where to go with the ball. And from that point on, as soon as I get it in my hands, it's just, that's when the fun starts. So it's just, I guess being a quarterback definitely helped out a lot because I get to understand, I kind of understand the conversations and the things that are going on in the quarterback's head. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody's got to have that quarterback mentality or that quarterback mindset on reading the defense and adjusting depending on what they present.
Hey Travis, you spoke a couple days ago about the support that you received from some of the Cincinnati coaches the year that you were playing. What kind of role did your brother play too in that, and the support that you received from him?
Man, when I got removed from the team, when I got removed from the team, I got my scholarship too, so I was actually staying with my brother. I was in his room in his house, kind of like two brothers growing up living in the same room. So in terms of rent, I wasn't paying rent. In terms of food, he was helping me with food. So I was literally living off him for quite a while down there. And he was my lifeline. And that being said, every single day I was trying to do the right things. And he went into the coach's office and actually talked to numerous coaches and numerous people in the Cincinnati staff to try and give me another chance to be on the team. And I'm forever in debt to this guy for putting his name, our name, just putting his honor on the line to give me another chance. And so when I say I owe it all to him, I really do.
Sam.
Travis, earlier to the question you said you worked to not put your team in the same position you did last time you were in the Super Bowl. What do you mean by that? And is that something that has obviously stuck with you for the past couple of years?
I mean, through every single game, you're going to have those ups and downs. Unfortunately, we had a lot of challenges early on, and I don't think I handled it the best as a leader in terms of stepping up to the plate, helping control the mindset, making a big time play to spark some energy, to spark that momentum. There were a few plays early on there that I just didn't feel like I did my job on the sideline. In terms of the energy and the demeanor of the team, that's where I really think I could help out with it.
Last question in the back.
Travis, we saw what happened in the NFC Championship game when the 49ers season gets derailed because of injuries at the quarterback position. People talked about the possibility of you having to be emergency quarterback. What about Blake Bell? Who's the better quarterback in that room?
I'm going to say Blake Bell by a landslide. He's actually gone in a college game, and I believe it was Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State, I think. He went down there a 2-minute drive or something like that. I've seen a little bit of the highlights, and I've seen him play. And just throwing it around on the field. Yeah, I'm taking Blake Bell over here.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
Poetic justice in it being against Philly this year?
Poetic justice. It's a little bit of strain when all my in-laws are from Philadelphia. I married a Philly girl, so look at it. Once we get going, the opponent that's on the other side of the field that's who you're trying to defeat. The 11 guys on offense over there, so not much different.
Trent mentioned the dedication of the rookie group. When did you see that they would be not only talent-wise there, but mentally be able to put it together?
That was pretty evident early. And Trent leads that, him, Brian Cook, from the mental standpoint. I think some of the other guys, the other 3 young guys, kind of fell into place on that. The coaches have done a terrific job. Dave and Donald work with them every day. I watch them in the meetings. I watch them on the field, how they interact. And it's really gelled together pretty good. Now, listen, we still need 60 more minutes. They can't go back to being rookies again. They got to advance as, somewhat experienced rookies. So, but I love what they've been doing. I love work with them. They embrace everything, so that's fun.
Last one for me. Do you talk about Tampa at all and what went wrong in that game for these guys who are just coming in? Is there any talk about that in the building?
Not really. I'm not sure we would benefit from that. Now, listen, myself, a bunch of other coaches on the staff have been through this before, so we pull on that experience and try to share with them. Try to stay away from potholes and things that might happen. And that's pretty much in the preparation part. Once we get to the game, they just got to let it roll.
Coach, how's Jalen changed since the first time you saw him?
Jalen Watson?
No.
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah. I know you've been studying him.
I'm kidding with you.
I know you've been studying him. How's he changed since the first time you saw him?
He's still the same talented athletic quarterback, but I think it looks like to me they've got him in the perfect system. It probably took them a year to figure out what they wanted to do with a quarterback. They sure have figured it out. He's comfortable with it. I'm impressed by what he does before the ball snap. And you see that in quarterbacks the more and more they're in a particular system. He finds a way to get him in and out of a bad play and make it tough on the defense. And then once the ball snapped, because it is an RPO and an option kind of game, he can change it in the middle of the play, and that's where he's really good.
He was at Oklahoma. Like CeeDee Lamb's numbers went way down because when there was an option, Jalen's first inclination was just to go, and he made it work.
Yeah.
And his guys didn't get mad; they understood it. But he doesn't do that anymore.
Not quite as much. I think he's got. Listen, he's a talented thrower. People lose sight of the fact that he can drop back and throw it. He's got three number of weapons, right? We know he got 2 great receivers and a tight end. He's got a couple of backs that he can get it to. He's really smart in critical situations for us are always 3rd downs and 4th downs. He seems to always make the right decision on those, and I'm sure the coaches over there are happy with that because you put something in and rely on the guy that's getting the ball to make a decision during the play, and he seems to make them all right. I'm impressed, totally impressed with the whole offense.
One last question. I talked to a guy with the Cowboys, former scout and assistant coach, who said it's interesting. And he goes, you can look on film and you can see when a guy's got it, especially quarterbacks. More than quarterbacks, they got it. Both of these quarterbacks kind of have that it factor. Can you talk about that?
No, you're right about that, and everybody does describe it as the it factor. And it's something in their eyes. You see it in the Burrows, you see it in Josh Allen, and you certainly see it in Jalen Hurts. I'm glad we have our guy that you can see it too. That's the leadership, that's the confidence, and it spews all the way throughout the unit they're on. And that's what makes this particular unit we're going against really tough to defend.
Thank you for your time.
You got it.
Good luck.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Steve, I always call it, this is how old school I am, I always call it the Bush push, what the Eagles do on 4th and 1.
Yeah. Like rugby football?
Yeah. How do you defend it?
I tell you, we don't normally spend an hour and a half on short yardage on a Wednesday night when we do it, but it was long last week, and for the same reason you're saying. What do you do? Try to get heavier guys in there and push with more weight, but you're talking about getting that far, and a lot of bodies clashing. The old adage is you win with leverage, so you got to be lower than them, and I think Jalen's smart enough to realize what you're doing. He hops over the top, he finds the C gap. So the best defense, in my opinion, is to not get in that situation. Easier said than done, right? But they're really good at it.
Coach, your defense tends to fly under the radar during the season, but it seems in the
tends to what?
Fly under the radar, be a bit underrated. come the postseason, it always seems to come alive, and there's Chris Jones and Frank Clark making amazing plays. But what is it about your system, your scheme, that's so conducive to success in these big moments?
Well, I'm hoping that happens again. I always say this: what you've done in the past, the prior games, doesn't mean anything going into these games. So it's all about our guys, stepping up and doing it again. And the young man that you mentioned, Chris Jones. If he's having the kind of game like he had last week, that certainly helps us. We need our best players to play their best football. And I think it comes back to those guys. That's why in the big moments we've been able to do that. But none of that matters now. It's a whole different game and a whole different game plan and another team that we're playing. So hopefully you can find 60 more minutes of good football. How are we doing?
Good, how are you? Do you think that the league is going to go ahead and change the rules of the quarterbacks league to go ahead and prevent teams from pushing?
That's an interesting question. I don't really know what they'll decide to do. I'm sure they'll look at it, and I guess it's all perception of what is it good for football? Is it not good for football?
What do you think?
I don't know. It's so hard to defend. I hope they get rid of it.
Right back to the old days, right?
Yeah.
Start of football,
I know the rule. There is a rule that you can't pull. Guys. I honestly thought that also included pushing, but obviously that's not the case because they're doing it. But I think it'll just come down to how the powers above feel. Is it good for football or not good for football? I don't. Sometimes when rules are changed, it's because there's an injury issue. I don't know. I haven't looked at the research if there's an injury on that or not, but it looks like rugby to me. We were going to go back and pull rugby film out just to see. We should have probably asked some rugby players how they stop the scrum. But it seems like that scrum's always moving, though, right? It never.
The guy's pushing from behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but it's it's really genius and simplicity, right? What they're doing. And yet they've evolved. They've got things off of that now,
I was just going to say, it's like they can line up and then just pitch it.
Yeah, they've been flipping it. They're pretty smart in what they do. I give them a lot of credit for it.
A lot of teams run the read option stuff, but why are the Eagles so effective at it?
It starts with the quarterback, right? I mean, Jalen Hurts, he's been doing it. You go back to his college career, and somebody said this the other day, and they're right. It was really impressive that he went from a system in Alabama, played it really well, and then he goes 1 year at Oklahoma, played it really well, and now he's here however many years is in Philadelphia and doing the same thing. I give a lot of credit to their coaches who they know what he can do well, and they've just tailored it toward that. And you can see the results. They put together a good football team. They added A.J. Brown. I think that brought in a whole new element because it's not not one elite receiver out there, now it's two. And, certainly number 6 has grown, in maturity. You got a lot of weapons, and I think it all comes back to the guy that gets the ball in his hands.
The common refrain is, sorry. I was going to say that. Plus, AJ is a great blocker too.
Yeah, and listen, when you get that, he's been doing it all season long, but typically when you get to this point in the season, everybody knows what's at stake. Those guys are willing to do that. Maybe not during the season sometimes, but certainly now.
The common refrain you hear with Jalen is that you got to keep him in the pocket, make him a pocket passer.
Yeah.
Does that sell him short a little bit?
Listen, I think so because I've watched him from the pocket, throw it out there to 11 and 6 and make some really big plays. The thing he adds to it is when he does get outside, he can improvise and make you look bad and come up with a big play. So there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league like that now. They can beat you with their legs.
The unpredictability their offense
Yes.
poses, how do you strike the balance between being aggressive but not being caught out like the Niners and other teams have been?
Yeah, we've been talking about it all week. There's a lot of responsibility football when you play that kind of offense. And if we can be good on first and second down to get them in along the third down, then maybe that's when you can do that. But short of that, you're always facing the possibility of a run or an RPO on any down distance. And if you're doing something, it could be a big play for you, but it might be a really big play for them. Yeah.
So, we keep talking about the World Cup, but the draft will be the largest event Kansas City has ever hosted. And it's a celebration of the Chiefs, it's a celebration of the NFL, it's a celebration of Chiefs Kingdom. We think that's one of the biggest things is people are going to actually see how big Chiefs Kingdom is because people are going to come from all edges of the kingdom and beyond. I think the economic impact is going to be impressive and significant. I think people don't realize yet how big it's going to be. And perfect timing, right? You got a team that's performing at the highest level and hosting AFC Championship games, and now you got the league coming in. The difference between the draft and AFC Championship games Super Bowl parades and things like that is this is really a league event. So you're going to see what the NFL does and how the NFL does this, and it's bigger than people think and realize.
I look at it like parade, AFC title, any playoff game. Those are home games.
Yeah.
This is a neutral field event, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny you say that this year, right? It is a neutral field, and I think that obviously there'll be fans from all over who come, fans of every team that'll come. One of the reasons that the league chose Kansas City, and it was a competitive bid. Like this is not a slam dunk by any means. We really worked hard, and Kathy and Troy and a lot of people within the city worked hard to get it because we knew just how big an event it could be for the city. But it's really a celebration of football and what we do with 101, the legacy of Lamar. It just fit. But the league was, it's really easy for the league to take it to Las Vegas. It's really easy to take it to LA. It's really easy to take them to these big cities. And we fought really hard with Commissioner and others within the league to say, these are the kind of events you got to bring to cities like this that are so supportive of our teams year in and year out. So it'll be a celebration of football. It'll be a great celebration of Chiefs football.
And it's an odd place for the hometown team to be in because Andy Reid can't participate in this, and Patrick Mahomes can't participate in this to a large extent.
Yeah.
And, they're not moving their draft headquarters to downtown to be part of this. So it's
another one of those realization things that people don't actually realize how integrated and all the technology that goes into actually conducting a draft. So the league has to have that set up at Union Station. In our club, we have redundancy on redundancy on redundancy in our training facility for draft day. Because the clock doesn't stop, right? You get a Wi-Fi outage or a power outage, or we had a couple of years where we got tornadoes coming at us during the draft. Anything that goes down, it doesn't stop, it keeps going. So moving it to Union Station was thought about for a couple seconds, and we showed them what we do, and they're like, yeah, stay where you are. So I do think that we'll find ways for Patrick and others to participate if we can get them there. Some players will do stuff. The league will do what the league does. So you have a lot of superstars in town.
Right. And just the square footage of space that's going to be used there is, I think I've heard it's going to be the largest area ever for the draft.
Yeah.
On both sides of Liberty Memorial, right, with the mall, and that really is an opportunity for, I don't know, Kansas City to show off a little bit, but also there'll be a place for fans to be and to go and to have that interactive area. So what would a fan expect coming into this? I mean, just something to do each time?
I think there'll be something for fans of all ages to do and participate in, whether it's VIPs sitting next to the stage when the draft pick comes out, or whether it's kids playing flag football in front of World War Museum, and everything in between. And I think you said it well. It's a celebration of Kansas City. It's another opportunity to be on the national stage and show off. So,
Jason Kelce, what do you know about him?
He's a warrior. He's the leader of that offense, the play caller, the vocal guy. He gets everybody going. He speaks. What he does for that offense speaks volumes.
Feel better. Okay, rest.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking.
Hey, Chris, regarding you good?
Yeah.
Your Super Bowl experience, to have won one and lost one, did the win feel as good as the loss felt bad?
No, I think the loss felt worse than the win.
Yeah.
Actually. I think you learn a lot when you lose. I don't count them as losses. I count them as lessons. You learn a lot. You learn a lot more when you lose than when you win. You know what I mean? Because there's not really much you can learn when you win, but when you lose, you see everything. I think that kind of helped this team bring a little fire back in this team. I think this team is more appreciative than we were when we lost. Just the journey it took to get here and how hard we had to work to get here. We had to embrace that. So I think we're appreciative of the loss.
You've been part of so many wins and so much success here that when you lose a game, the way you guys lost that one, Did you think about it much? I mean, maybe not why, but just how poorly the Chiefs played in that game, both sides.
Yeah, as a whole, we played poorly, offensive, defensive, special teams. It was our day. I looked at it as like, hey, sometimes in life it's not your day, and it's okay. You got to take a sucker punch right on the chin, keep your head up, and you'll meet it again. That's the beautiful thing about life, man. Life is a full 360. It comes full circle. Whether it's losing to the Bengals, playing the Bengals this year, and going to the championship. So I'm appreciative for this journey. I'm appreciative of what it taken to get here, and I'm excited about Sunday, man.
Can you name the 5 position players, not kickers, but 5 position players who will have started each of the 3 Super Bowls?
Position player?
Yeah.
Don't matter what player?
Yeah, don't matter what player, but for the Chiefs, 5 guys will have started all 3 Super Bowls.
Frank Clark.
Yep.
Travis Kelce. Pat Mahomes. Nick Bolton.
95. And Derek Notting.
Okay.
All right. So just 5 you guys.
Wait. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah. It just speaks to the core of this team, man. The type of guys we brought in that built around that core. Hey, it's only 5, huh?
Just 5. And Harrison and Winchester are a part of that, but position players only. I just thought it's been a lot of turnover, especially this year's team, right? All those rookies and everything. A whole lot of turnover. For the Chiefs to keep it going, though, it says a lot about this organization.
It says a lot about Andy Reid, man. Andy Reid is the best coach in the world. Brett Beach, the best GM. Mark Donovan is the best president. Hart Hunt is the best owner.
Very good.
Good answer.
Thank you.
That'll do it for today from the Super Bowl. Thanks to George Howard for producing today's show, and to our SportsBeat KC staff of Jeff Rosen, Scott Chase, and Monty Davis, and Randy Mason. I hope you've been following the Chiefs' coverage of the Super Bowl in the Star, on kansascity.com, and in my favorite place, the Morning Sports Edition. There have been some great stories from Sam McDowell, Vahe Gregorian, Jesse Newell, and Herbie Teope, with more great stuff coming this weekend. By the way, to get Morning Sports Edition, go to liveedition.kansascity.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon with another SportsBeat KC, where we talk sports in Kansas City every day.